Okay, so this might be one of the more involved responses that you provide in terms of your reasoning, because you do have to do a little bit more, as you guess you could say, light research, but that only has to do with definitions. So let's go ahead and read through this, and then I will give you some tips, some help, so maybe a little bit of lecturing like I did for item 2, which might help you to formulate your ideas. So item 3 is worth 40% because I think it involves a little bit more work. So let's go ahead and complete step 1. There are a lot of conflicting claims in the debate about the coronavirus or COVID, and I'm sure you've been part of the debate or seen the debate on social media, the news, maybe within your own household, maybe within another class and a discussion board. So people debate its origins, right? There's opposing conclusions about where it came from. Whether there's even a debate about whether there were evil intentions or whether it just kind of happened naturally and organically. There's a conflicting claims about how dangerous it is. You know, is it just like the flu and no worse, or is it much more dangerous? How it's spread. You know, some people are like, well, it's the air, or it's the surface, or it lasts longer than the surface. No, it doesn't. Its rate of infection and whether masking works. So that's a huge debate, right? You've got the anti-maskers and then the masking proponents and whatnot. And then there are also a lot of conflicting claims in the debate about whether the entire pandemic is just a hoax or test to see how far citizenry will give up power, how far they can go in getting a citizenry to give up freedom or power. So, you know, there's a lot of debate about that and a lot of conflicting beliefs about reality or the reality of what people are calling COVID-19 or is COVID-19. So in this item, we are going to focus on we're going to focus on a narrow strand of all of the debate, of all of the issues, about all the kinds of claims about COVID-19. So we're going to focus on the debate about wearing masks, to keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm giving you context here, and now I'm getting us to focus here on the prompt on a specific realm of conflicting claims about COVID-19. Some say they help to reduce or slow down the spread, and of course I'm referring to masks. Others say the masks, are useless when it comes to slowing down the spread, of course, of COVID-19. And of course, I want you to think about any version or variant, because by the time I have done this video, I understand that there's at least one, if not more, variant of the original COVID-19. So let's just include all of them in this in our assumptions to address this prompt. So my question to you then is, do you think it is possible to prove which of the conflicting claims about wearing masks are true? And I want to just stop right there. So in your version, you don't have the rest of this. I decided to take out these words to make it easier for you to focus. So do you think it's possible to prove which of the conflicting claims about wearing masks are true? Your version might have one or two little differences in words. Don't worry about that. I printed off this version, but your version is the most updated version, and it's 98% aligned with this one. When we were looking at item 1, I had you define a fundamental and powerful concept that led you to or played a role into your conclusion. So that concept had to do with what? That was, give me just a second here, item 1. The concept that I had you focus on was what? Free will. So remember what I used the triangle for? Remember I called that to your attention in the argument lessons. So I wanted you to define that concept. You define free. Okay, so sorry, there might have been a little pause because I didn't have my laptop plugged in and it ran out of juice. Okay. So I was just calling your attention to that in item 1, something that I didn't explicitly call attention to, and that was when I was having you when I talked about defining free will, I was calling the importance to defining a fundamental and powerful concept in your thinking. So I showed you that with the triangle. So here, 2 concepts that you're going to define are prove and true. So I'm using the triangle. Oh, I can see that you can't see that. In fact, you see 2 of me. Give me 1 second. I'm just activating the other camera so that you don't see 2 of me. 1's enough, right? Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay, you'll start to see the other screen. All right, so let me zoom in on this also. You can see that I have barely enough room, but I did draw a triangle over the word prove and a triangle over the word true, okay? So no matter what your response is, okay, no matter whether you have a definite position or you don't have a definite position, you're still going to define these two words. But I'm going to give you a specific version of the words to define. So you're going to have to define the word truth, and you're going to have to define the word proof. Even though the wording in your conclusion is going to talk about prove and true, so prove being a verb and true kind of being a descriptor, when it comes to your definition, you're going to look up not true, but truth, so the noun, and then you're going to look up the word proof, the noun, instead of the verb prove, and I have my reasons for that. So as you know, I'm not going to repeat the basic generic information about what's going on here in terms of, conclusions and reasons. We've already got that down, so I don't need to repeat that, right? You already understand basically what's going on here in terms of your argument construction. What we're focusing on now is the content of your response.